the chefs
We the chefs
are working together
to create a better food future.
I am George.
Andy, Tom from Nigeria,
Switzerland.
Los Angeles.
London.
India.
New Zealand.
Ingredients are medicine.
Ingredients are superpowers. Food is joy.
Food is love.
Food is life.
There are 8 thematic areas.
ingredients grown with respect to the earth,
friendly to oceans,
Protection of biodiversity.
and improved animal welfare.
Investment in livelihoods.
value natural resources,
And reduce waste.
Waste is recyclable.
Waste is unnecessary.
Waste is criminal.
Celebration of local and seasonal food.
A focus on
plant-based ingredients,
education on food safety.
And healthy diets.
Nutritious food that is accessible.
and affordable to all.
Chefs.
Politicians.
suppliers, farmers.
educators.
Chefs together can change the world.
Get involved.
Get involved.
Get involved.
Please welcome Arthur Potts Dawson, chef and eco-restaurateur, in conversation with international chefs Manal Al-Alem and Anahita Dondi.
How fantastic to be here. My name's Arthur,
Manal Al-Alim.
And Anahita Dondi.
and we're here to talk to you about food, because food is what we all love, right? Who doesn't love food? Who hasn't eaten today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
We
point.
just saw some fingers there.
Yeah, you haven't
Yes.
eaten yet? Get some food into you. Make sure it's good food.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, we're here to tell you some stories. We want to talk to you a little bit about food and how chefs can change the world. First of all, I want to hit you with some important messaging. Last summer, or last September, I was here standing on this stage with David Beasley, who is the head of the World Food Programme, the executive director, and he can't be with us today. Now, I know you're all disappointed, but he's at the moment speaking to the Secretary General of the United Nations, talking about the famine and the issues that are being faced in Yemen. There are 8 million people in Yemen facing famine crisis. They're very important messaging in trying to understand what the World Food Programme is doing and how chefs can influence change in the world. So we need to make sure that we understand how we can understand what we can do in war-torn countries like Yemen. We need to talk about peace. We need to talk about the issues that the World Food Programme faces on the ground in countries like Yemen. The fact that 600,000 children a month are going hungry and are not going to school. We're talking about nearly 2.5 million more people being added per month. Now, the World Food Programme is feeding 8 million people a month in Yemen. That's bigger than a country. It's emergency food for people who are on the front line of conflict. And the World Food Programme is doing a serious job of keeping people alive. And the idea is that we bring chefs to narrate how we can make change. And part of that has been, a year ago, when I stood on stage with David here, the idea was, how can we get the messaging out there? How can we get at grassroots level and communicate to people like yourselves who eat food every day, and you're fed by chefs every day? How, as the chef being the conduit from the farmer to the consumer, what is it that we're doing? And I kind of want to open up that conversation today. Manal and Anita are 2 unbelievable chefs that we need to talk to.
Wow.
And so I kind of want to hand over and kind of open up the dialogue a little bit. But I just want to say that I asked each of us to bring a little bit of something to the floor. Well, mine is actually on the floor. This is kale, green kale. And the idea is that we share food every day. And I wanted to bring kale to you to explain to you that this is grown fresh, it's grown, and it's extremely good for you, nourishing. It's got unbelievable vitamins and minerals. We can eat it raw, you can bake it, you can fry it. I like slowly drying it with a cashew nut paste on top of it.
It was our breakfast this morning.
Yeah. But actually, the point is, and I want to make this before I finish, is that actually it's not about the kale. It's actually about the water that the kale is sitting in. Because without water, this kale doesn't grow. And this morning I was speaking to Stephen, who is the liaison officer for the World Food Programme, who was talking about the World Food Programme bringing in diesel and petroleum to run generators that are giving fresh water to the Yemenis hospitals and schools. And the idea is that without the vital resource, which is water, and understanding part of the chain of food is founded in water. And the Chef's Manifesto discusses that. We've got 8 thematic areas inside the Chef's Manifesto, which talks about fair food for all, treating our oceans well. We can talk about those in a minute. But the idea is that water is the lifeblood of everything that we do.
Yeah.
So, anyway, can I hand over? Manal, can I talk to you?
Yes.
What have you brought? Have you brought something to talk about?
I came from an area full of conflicts, actually. I do a very nice collaboration with the World Food Programme. I went to Jordan, visited the refugees. I cook with the women there. We did a good job there because, you know, food is life, and we have to bring them for them life, not just food, also a healthy food. We want them to be a healthy nation when they grow up to be doctors, engineers, whatever their dreams to become. So we work hard to bring them a very healthy food.
And food is important because it tells you what community you're from, where you are in the world.
Exactly. In our area, food is happiness, food is love. I'm sure in every area, but we deal with the food like it's a hospitality. The more I love my guests, my family, I cook more. I do cooking shows. I teach housewives how to cook and to bring happiness for the table, you know. It's so. Let me tell you,
yeah.
yes.
But as an idea, so you know, there's something here called the Chef's Manifesto. But if you take away the word chef and put the People's Manifesto for food, because you're not cooking in a restaurant every day,
Yes,
you're teaching people at home how to cook.
Yes, because cooking in the restaurant, maybe it's a hidden, very important job. Nobody knows about it. That's why Chef Manifesto bring the responsibility of chefs, how they can change the world, how they can do something very important. The same level we do with the housewives, because the housewives is who cook for the family. So we do always, I teach them how to really take care of all the Chef Manifesto 8, let's say, points. We can do always make a big difference. It's very simple.
So let me just raise something so you understand what the Chef's Manifesto does. There's 8 thematic areas inside the Chef's Manifesto, and each area corresponds to or triggers the global goals. The SDGs, part of the UN, you know, arrangement of trying to get the world to be a better place in 2030, right? So, for example, if Manal in Dubai speaks the simplest one, let's say that we talk about ingredients grown with respect for Earth and its oceans. Okay, so we've got kale, grown with respect.
I've got some ingredients here from India.
And we've got some millet.
Yes.
And let me come to the millet in 1 second. So if you grow it with respect and understanding for the earth and the oceans, then it triggers 6 of the global goals. So you can say, how can I actively engage with the global goals from a personal perspective? Yes. Well, if I buy ingredients that are grown with respect for the earth and its oceans, then I'm getting involved in 6 of the global goals. It's really important to understand it for people who don't understand
them. Yeah, and it's very simple. Yeah. Everybody can reach it, can read it, can make it as a habit. Even when we say chefs, it's more educational things. No, housewife can do it.
Absolutely.
Every person can do it, and we can do these 8 things. And cooking is love. Cooking is life. Cooking is happiness. And that's, at this point, I brought for you something very important. This is the special mold. Yeah. We do mamoul. Mamoul is a kind of cookies filled with dates. We don't put sugar inside. Always we bake it for all occasions, all celebrities. We always share it with our neighbors. For any occasion we have, we do this mamoul. And this is for you, gift for me.
Thank you.
And this is for you, Arthur.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I have something here. Guess what?
Hang on.
Who will guess what is
special.
this inside my bucket? This is small. I brought it for me. And at the custom, they said, Manal, what is this? I said, it's very special. This is mamoul. This is for you.
That is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And everybody, please, you can try it. I brought a lot from
Huge
Dubai.
bag, just out
It's
here.
outside. If you please have a chance to try it and share love. Thank you. Thank you. This is food. Food is happiness and sharing love. And the Chef Manifesto is really working on this one.
Can I just come to you, Anita? I just want to ask one
Yes.
question. Because you say food is love, food is happiness.
Yes.
But there's one issue that we do need to understand. Because you say you come from a region of conflict.
Yes.
How does food generate peace?
Food generate peace. This is very important because really, if we solve the conflict, we will help the people to live in a proper, healthy way. So with World Food Program, we serve fresh food, healthy food, cooked from using local products in Jordan and Lebanon. Using local products also like olive oil, we are famous where they have the oil. Za'atar also very tasty. We do the fatayr, which is like a small pizza. It's similar to pizza, but it's a small one. We serve it to the students in the
Manal, you're making me
schools.
hungry. I know whoever hasn't eaten, I know you're even more hungry now Manal's been talking. Anita, can we come to you? Can we talk a little bit about your experience?
So Arthur, I think since all of us have brought along with us an ingredient, I've got some millets.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of us know about millets. I come from India, and in India we have these ancient grains commonly known as millets, and there are different types of millets. I've got a millet called kodo millet with me. I'm going to open it and show you the texture of it.
Great.
So it's an ancient grain.
It's an ancient grain.
Yeah.
It's been growing in India for many, many years, probably centuries. And the interesting part is that it's super healthy. It's grown in areas where there's very less water. It only takes 1/10 the amount of water in comparison to wheat or rice or maize. These are grains that are actually suited for the land that we come from. And our grandmothers used to cook with that. And the interesting part is that these little grains hold so much nutrition.
Tiny.
Sadly,
Powerful.
they're tiny, they're very powerful, they're full of nutrients, and again, they only use 1/10 the amount of water, and they're grown all throughout India. The paradox is that still about 1/4 of India is still malnourished. We have the solution, we have it in the country. It's just that we've forgotten how to use that, and that's where I come in with as a chef, as a connector, as a chef's manifesto. We've sort of brought in so much knowledge about ingredients, and we are able to use that knowledge and share that knowledge. I didn't know about the millets. My grandmother did, but there was a disconnect. And these millets, once that I started using these millets, I've realized that this is what's always been grown around us. Why have we lost that tradition? Why have we lost or forgotten eating those grains or eating those ingredients? And as a chef, I think that gives us power, right? As soon as you know an ingredient and how to use it, like Manal said and how you said, it's not only about the customers that we feed, it's about empowering other people with the knowledge that we have. You eat this is good for the environment, it's good for you, it's good for the planet, it's good for the farmer. And I think that sort of connects all of us. We can do it. If I can do that in India, in a restaurant, in my restaurant, I can influence other chefs in the same area to use this ingredient that we've forgotten. And if we use that, then we sort of do our roles, do our little bits in the world.
So the point that you're saying also is that the chef is just a part of the relationship of food, of consumption and production. And in your experience with community, I mean, India is a huge country. I mean, what is it? 1/4 of the population of India is malnourished?
Yes.
So if you're talking about 1/4 of the population of a nation that's more than 1 billion people is malnourished, how do we get this type of messaging? Millets. Don't move on to the wheats and the rices. You've got to stick with the traditional grains.
The traditional grains that are grown in your own country. As chefs, we use them in our kitchens. We tell more people about it. They eat it. The farmer grows more of it. The farmer feeds his family, gets back to growing those grains, and it's good for his farm. It's going to nourish the children in the country. And I think it's super important to get that point across, to tell people about it, to scream about it. The Chef's Manifesto here.
Telling people, this is why we are here, Arthur.
We're here to tell you about
we are,
these
yes, to
ingredients.
tell you and ask you all, please, to share our message with your social, because here we are in a social activity. So can we stand up and maybe they want to take photo for us?
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think? Yes, I think.
So look, Chef's Manifesto, chefs can influence conflict, peace. We need to make sure that everyone is fed. We're looking to end zero hunger. We need zero hunger by 2030. We need to look at the global goals. And the Chef's Manifesto triggers at least 15 of those global goals. So build it into your life, tell other chefs about it.
Yes, please.
Tell everyone about the Chef's Manifesto.
Feel whatever you want to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arthur, that's for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur. You're more. And don't forget this one. Please try it. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.